Welcome to this quick explainer where we're going to decode your digital footprint. Every single day, the average person creates megabytes of invisible data without even thinking about it. But who actually protects it? Well, today we are diving straight into the fundamentals of the Zimbabwe Cyber and Data Protection Act, Chapter 1207, to figure exactly that out. Whether you're running a business or just scrolling on your phone, understanding these digital rules is, honestly, absolutely crucial.
So, let's start with the big picture. The core object of the Act is pretty straightforward. It's all about increasing cybersecurity to build absolute confidence and trust in our digital ecosystem. It's not just a bunch of strict rules to make life harder. It's about making sure that whether a bank is moving millions of dollars or you're just sending a quick text to a friend, our digital environment in Zimbabwe is locked down and secure. The ultimate goal? Trust. But to understand how this law actually builds that trust, we've got to define our fundamental building blocks.
Okay, our foundation starts with one simple word: data. And we aren't just talking about dusty old spreadsheets here. Legally speaking, data is literally any representation of facts, concepts, or information. That means the audio note you sent this morning, the viral video on your phone, or even the invisible computer code routing your emails. All of it counts. If a computer device processes it, the Act looks at it, says, yep, that's data, and protects it accordingly.
But data doesn't just exist floating around in a vacuum, right? It's attached to a real, living, breathing person. And that brings us to the data subject. This is essentially you, or anyone who can be identified physically, economically, or socially through that data. Even if it's indirectly, like through an ID number. If it points back to an identifiable individual, you are the data subject. And let me tell you, as the data subject, this Act gives you some seriously powerful legal protections.
All right, so what exactly counts as personal information? Well, think of it as the blueprint of your life. It covers the obvious stuff, of course, your name, your address, your telephone number, but it casts a much wider net than you might think. We're talking about your race and ethnic origin, your religious or political beliefs, your healthcare history, and even your employment and criminal records. If it relates to your unique life journey, the whole shebang falls right under personal information.
Now, right here is where we really need to change our tone and pay close attention, because caution, not all data is created equal. While handling everyday personal details might sometimes just rely on implied consent, we are about to cross a very strict legal boundary. We're moving into high-risk territory, a category of data that demands the absolute highest level of security and legal care. This is the stuff you literally cannot afford to mess up.
Welcome to sensitive data. This is the most critical part of this explainer. Sensitive data is information that presents a major risk to the fundamental rights of the data subject. If this highly private information falls into the wrong hands, it can lead to severe harm or discrimination. Because the stakes are so high, the law throws up an uncompromising barrier. Generally speaking, this data cannot be processed at all without your explicit written consent. No exceptions.
You can really see the escalation here, right? Look, mishandling a phone number or a home address? Yeah, that's bad. But mishandling sensitive data, like genetic data, political opinions, health status, or details about someone's sex life, that is legally catastrophic. The law essentially treats this information like digital dynamite. Health data, to give you just one example, is incredibly guarded, locked tight behind the strict duty of professional secrecy by healthcare workers.
So as we wrap up this explainer and you jump back into your digital life, I want you to ask yourself a serious question. Is the sensitive data you handle every single day truly secure under the Act? Understanding that line between basic personal information and highly regulated sensitive data, it isn't just about dodging legal penalties. It's really about actively protecting real people and building that absolute trust we talked about at the beginning. So what digital trace are you going to secure next?